And we're back. Left, I really do think you need help. But okay, I'll tell you what. Just flip back to any of the episodes that Joe Soro is on. I'm sure you'll find a rant in somewhere to your liking, or flip back to the one he went off on you. So, if you truly need him to yell at you in life, go back to the one he specifically targeted you, and hopefully it will do the trick for you. But it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. From the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you go ahead and check out the latest Pop Culture Cosmos. I'll have one for you sometime Monday afternoon. But for now, go ahead and check out the part 2 of our video game fantasy league, where Josh Peterson and I choose the top games for this year, what we think they will be. So go ahead and hear our thoughts on that, plus a lot of other cool stuff, including Pixar. Last week we talked about Xbox and so much more. So go ahead and check out the last week of Pop Culture Cosmos right there, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm also on the Lakers Latest channel, Lakers Latest, right there on YouTube, part of the Fan Arc Network. I have an episode I just recorded. That's why I'm a little bit late, that I will drop for tomorrow morning. Well, they will go ahead and upload it. That starts at 8 o'clock, I think, right around, as far as that's concerned, on Pacific time. So for your breakfast time, or in the case of the East Coast, your lunchtime, you can go ahead and check out my thoughts in an abbreviated form, and also answer some questions and a comment and a clarification on Jackson Hayes, because I have to deal with a Jackson Hayes super stat on the other channel. So go ahead and hear what I have to say on that channel, the Lakers Latest channel from Fan Arc. What's going on? Truly appreciate you joining us. But before we head into it, don't forget Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Also as well, the Lakerholics crew I was on with Sarah. I had to host the show. I had Michael Heinrich live from Hawaii. I had Laker Tom live with his can of Coca-Cola. He's there. He has his Coke, a cola, and Kurt Affair isn't there. You know what? When I see Kurt, I'm gonna go ahead and go off on it, because he wasn't there when Tom had his Coke. What a shame. But it's, of course, the Lakerholics crew at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out Tom's latest article right there for you there. And also, as well, my man Drip Show. Here you go. A nice little skate deck right there for you. Young Mamba skate deck. I will, but we will be giving away one of these to our subscribers here in the continental United States, for subscribers, followers, of course, of Drip Show, and subscribers of this channel. That's right. We are going to give away one of these to you, one of these bad boys. So you can either skate and do some flips and kill yourself, or you can go ahead. What they do now, it's like all the 90s kids, they love getting a stack of these babies and just hanging it up on the wall. They look at that. Yeah, because skateboards, especially in the 90s, were a true expression and form of art. And I'll tell you what, at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter, he can do that for you as well. Even if you don't win, he can do that for you as well. So please, go ahead and make sure you follow him today and subscribe to us, because we're going to be running a contest courtesy of El Rosto. Got to give a shout out to El Rosto, Drip Show Shop, and of course your friends at the Lakers Fast Break. So there you go. Plus, if you've got any intruders coming in the house, you could whack them upside the head with this thing. It's pretty sturdy. I'll tell you what. Great job by Drip Show once again. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers came in today facing off in a Sunday afternoon fest against the New York Knicks, the Knickerbockers. Looking forward to getting the victory. LeBron James said he was going to be there, said he was going to play, but leading into it, I guess that elbow hurt a little bit too much, so he was listed as out. So what would happen? If you read a lot of the comments and read a lot of happiness for some people out there, they said the Lakers were more likely to win. And Intel Wild is here. He said, "We did it. We did it. We beat a team with a 600 plus winning record." Yes, because the Lakers going in, teams with a 600 plus record, we were 4-15 or 4-13. Really bad. We had only 4 wins, and 3 of those were in the first 2 weeks of the season. So yeah, that wasn't so hot. But well, what happened? Well, the Lakers. I said going in, Pinty from Germany asked me who did I think was going to win. This was before we found out about LeBron. I just said I have a feeling. I have a feeling that the Lakers will get it together against the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks, for all they do, they had a great win on Denver in Denver. All credit to them for that. But I just thought up and down for most part of the season. Thought the Lakers could for one day put it together, and they did from the very start. They did from the very start, getting off to an early lead and just never looking back. Really kept it going. 31-23 in the first quarter. Absolutely just a great job, but mainly on the defensive end. I know the Lakers have been criticized, and rightly so. Stats wise, they are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. But today, active was the thing I want to go ahead and say. The activity level for the Lakers on the defensive end was some of the best I've seen in quite some time from this team this season. And I really was happy for it because, again, the arms flailing active, making sure that they're there, take charges, being in place, talking, communicating. I know they've been criticized for that in recent days, but I tell you what, the defense showed up today. The perimeter defense was better, more contested looks, and it showed as the New York Knicks, a team that likes to check up the three, only 24% from beyond the arc. The Lakers, even though Luka didn't have the most efficient game, Austin Reaves did. 8 of 16 for him, 25 points for him. Luka still got 35 and 8 rebounds, 6 turnovers. You don't like to see that. Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 times that, you just was dribbling and it just had it taken away. It was just fairly careless at times. But still, 35 points for him. Rui Hashimura chipped in with 13 and 7. Luke Kennard, 12 and 12 points for him. DeAndre Ayton, I know the 6 and the 8 doesn't look that great for him, but I liked his activity level, especially playing against Karl Anthony Towns. He looked more alive today. Maybe the days off really helped him. Jackson Hayes had put his hand in there quite a bit as far as his activity level as well on the defensive end. And the Lakers got it done today, 110-97. So we should laud the defense for today. Absolutely. Just cannot thank enough the defense for the Lakers today. And they do get credit because absolutely just seemed like they cared on the defensive end today. DBSH, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, shout out to Marcus Smart ending Doris's career. Just kidding. On the offensive end, Marcus Smart was not that great. Defensive end, playing Jalen Brunson predominant amount of time, providing a lot of activity. Yes, he should get a lot of credit there. He played very well defensively. Offensively, it didn't look great. 1 of 10, I think, overall for the game. Just not great there. But the defensive, nobody can complain that he did give that effort on the defensive end. Absolutely, indeed. But make sure you go ahead and support Daniel Berry Sports Highlights on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe there. Stefan says Kennard is shooting 60% from 3 since the move. Yeah, even that comes after a 3 of 7 day from behind the arc. But yeah, giving you 12 points again and a key 3 down the stretch, which it was great to see, guys. Let's not get lost in the fact that after what happened in Denver, the Lakers had a shooter out there when they needed it the most to go ahead and draw out the defense to make things easier to go ahead and facilitate. And they also facilitated when they did, they usually got things done as far as on the offensive end. So I was really happy with the effort as far as on the defensive end. But the fact is, yes, I know it wasn't the most efficient game for the Lakers, but I did enjoy and appreciate the fact that they were able to go ahead and facilitate at times, because when they did, they usually we're able to get some kind of good look out of it. All right, let's see what you guys have to say on today's show. Truly appreciate you joining us on that. Again, left, I do not know. I think Ox is on his way back from Arizona. So we'll see. We are in fifth place in the Western Conference, 39 wins, getting closer to hopefully achieving at least the same mark that we did last year with 50 wins. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, just a great victory for the Lakers today, 110-97. Can they put it together on Tuesday against Minnesota? We'll have to find out. Drip Show said, who will win the Drip Show Kobe skateboard? Who will win? We're definitely going to have to go ahead and put that together, but you have to be a follower of Drip Show Shop on his Instagram or Twitter or social media, and then also as well be a subscriber here at the Lakers Fast Break. Truly would be great if you did. Stefan, how's Gerald? How's that pickup? Kennard's wrong, got us for nothing. Looking to you now, big dog. Joe was very complimentary of the Kennard trade. I am very complimentary of the Kennard trade. Rob, again, orchestrated a good trade. I have said that Rob is a below average GM. If he was a bad GM, every move would be bad for him. But as a below average GM, he does hit once in a while, and he hit on Kennard, which has been great to see. It's great to see. We'll see how it looks in the playoffs because as we saw, there are some times where they go straight at him, which still concerns me, but they've got to make sure they utilize him on the offensive end. If they ignore Kennard on the offensive end and just let them attack him on the defensive end, then that's going to be a problem. But yeah, this was a good move by Rob Pelinka. One of the few that he's made, one of the few trades that have been effective for him during his tenure with the Lakers. Intel Wild says it goes to show you what a little tweak or move can do for you. Adding Kennard, Smart, and Aiden, Jake are the reason we are better than last season. I don't know about that right now, Intel. Let's see how this figures out in closeout. I don't know if we are better than last season. I mean, last year we were we went 50 games last year. Let's see how this looks out first. I don't want to assume that that's going to be the case. The Lakers still have to win 11 more to match last year's team. And again, they were still trying to put things together because the Luka trade coming in. We'll see. Again, Kennard, Smart, Ayton, Jake LaRavia have given, well, the DeAndre Ayton experience has been a DeAndre Ayton experience, but he's only $8 million. So a lot of people have been very frustrated with him. But he did give a good effort today on the defensive end. So I will give him credit for that. But, you know, it's just a matter of time where he starts comparing himself to Clint Capella again. Jake LaRavia has been off and on as of late, but he's had some good games for the Lakers this season as well. But yes, I don't know if we are better than last season at this point in time, because again, we're a fifth place team in the Western Conference. We were a little bit higher last season in the Western Conference. So we'll wait and see if how good this team looks by the end of the season. But if things go right, they could end up going farther than last season, which obviously wasn't that far. So we will have to wait and see. 805 asked if I've ever been to MSG. No, I've never been to New York. I've been as far as Washington, D.C. Had a chance to go to New York, but I kind of passed on it because we only would have the day to go to New York, and I didn't think we would have enough time to go ahead and do everything that we needed to do. So I hope I'd to go to MSG someday. That would be great. I would love that opportunity, but yes. We'll see. Left on base. The Ox better yell at me harder when he comes back. I'll be patient. There are psychiatrists out there, my friend, left that can help you with your needs. That's all I'll say. Stefan says, Intel, we basically swapped DFS for all those players that you just named. Yeah, you at least you could say two of them. Because remember, he wasn't that expensive. He was like $14 million last year. So you can say two of them. There we go, as far as I'm concerned. But DeAndre Ayton has been a mixed bag, but today he gave you what you needed to give you. So it's good to see him do that. And we gave up 0 assets. Okay. All right. But is it leading to a much better team? Intel says yes. Stefan says yes. He's trying to pump up Rob Pelinka. Again, a below average GM. but still, he's trying to pump up Rob Pelinka for all of his past mistakes. I love how you're just ignoring all of his past mistakes, but he is doing some things on the cheap that have helped the Lakers win some games this year. That's admittedly. I've said that before. I said it on your show that he has gotten some guys on the cheap that have helped this team win. And I'll leave it at that. Stefan says, I kind of want you to hug you, Gerald, because you're being so nice today to Rob. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's okay. No hugs needed. No hugs needed. But all is good. Again, whether Rob keeps his job, we'll have to wait and see. It's the end result, Stefan, because you know our society. It's what did you do most recent for me? What did you do last? So if the Lakers they leave out, they get kicked out in the first round in convincing fashion by the other team, then I don't think a lot of the people in the chat are going to be on your side, my friend, on keeping Rob Pelinka. I'll just say that. But right now, with all the people that are around him that weren't there before 2 months ago, I just say it's just a little less comfortable than he was before. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not predicting him gone or anything. I'm just predicting that it's still a little bit more uncomfortable for him right now than it was with all these Dodgers execs that are now part of the front office watching him on a daily basis. I mean, I'm sure you've had that in corporate life, Stefan, where they hired, certain personnel, either at a same level or a little bit higher, and everybody gets scrutinized a little bit more because of it. I'll just leave it at that. But Kennard is a great addition, Intel, absolutely. Again, how do you go ahead and let a player that is the second leading career 3-point percentage player travel from team to team to team? Yes, he does have his things with his defense, but he is showing that if you get him the ball, he is going to make shots for you, and that's what you need to ask him. That's what you need to ask from him, and he is doing that right now for the Lakers. And as we've seen, a lot of these shooters, they come to the Lakers and they just don't get it done. They just uh, cower in the bright light, so to speak. And right now he is not doing that. He has played extremely well, and he's provided something that this bench, one of the worst benches in the league, sorely needed. Something to come off the bench that's reliable and that's consistent. So yes, um, again, Stefan, like I said, I wouldn't feel as comfortable as I did 2 months ago if I was Rob Pelinka. Even if I was even if I thought he was a good GM, Stefan, I would still be like, okay, I've got Dodger execs to the right of me. I've got Dodger execs to the left of me. Right, left, right. Okay. Kind of uncomfortable down there. But Isaac, yeah, great to have you here again. Always appreciate you checking me out on both channels. 9-2 without LeBron, guys. And this is something I go to. This is something, okay, if you're on our Discord, the battle between Alan, the Australians too, they're Aussies. That's the thing. And they do not get along right now because the major argument is, would you bring LeBron back on the minimum? And Alan has asked that question because he really believes LeBron. I think El Rosto is also along with that. But Mark, aka Xbox, has been adamant about ending the LeBron saga. And today, Mark was a happy man because the Lakers proved they can win against a good team without LeBron James. And they are 9-2 without LeBron James with just Austin Reaves and Luka as the main two. Did they play to get better today without LeBron? Apparently. I'm just saying this as a unit, as a big three, they just have not gelled. Said it on the Lakers latest. They have not coalesced at all together, which has been a big problem. It doesn't seem like we could get 3 big games from them against a good team at the same time. They just don't seem to all stay on the same page against a good team. It's just that simple. And that's a problem. That's a problem if you're putting so many resources to just those three and they're not all giving you what they need to give you. So that's definitely a problem. There you go. Intel says Kennard also seems to be a good teammate. It doesn't have an attitude, no attitude. Yeah, again, that's another great reason to keep Luke Kennard. And I hope they go ahead and give him an offer to try and bring him back. Or in Kennard's case, he's making himself look really good when he gets out there as a individual that might get a multi-year contract, which obviously for his long-term NBA health it would be good. But I would like to see the Lakers retain him if if he can continue playing for this and play decently in the playoffs. He does have a 44%. What's it 40? Oh, it does have about a 40% shooting percentage from three in the playoffs. But if you guys remember in the Memphis series that the Lakers played against, the Lakers were targeting him quite a bit, so much that they played him off the floor. So if you are targeting him on the defensive end, I just ask that you make sure he gets 6 to 10 shots from three to make sure you're justifying putting him out there. That's all I ask, because he can do some things for you. He can hit the mid range. He can facilitate. He can do things that have surprised us even more since he's come over here. And he's been a big, huge benefit over what we saw with Gabe, which Stefan, who signed Gabe to that contract? There you go. All right. But be that as it may, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. 110 to 97. It's like when you have, you made this mistake, but you're covering it up. But I did this instead. I did this now. All right. There you go. Yes. And it's again, you made up for your mistake with Luke Kennard, with Gabe Vincent. So there you go. Left on base said, the Ox yell at me. I need it. I need my fix. Joe, what did you start? What did you start? The media liked cardio at the signing of the time. I would check back to us to see what we saw. I mean, right off the bat, he was injured and out an entire year. And we already had the Kendrick Nunn experience as far as from Miami. He was, and I off the bat said he was a streaky shooter. If you know him back when he played with Miami, he was a very streaky shooter. So he was a hustler on defense, played aggressively on defense, played on that NBA Finals team, but he is definitely a streaky shooter. And if he's not hitting those shots, it's tough to keep him out there. That's what I said at the time. And he just never found his mojo with the Lakers, and he just became cardio Gabe, especially when he came back for that injury, because he was out almost his entire first season with there. So there is Joe right there in the chat. By the way, Left wants you to yell at him. He needs a fix. So yell at him all you want in the chat. Put everything in caps then. Joe, go ahead. Stefan says, don't get me wrong, Gabe is not one of Rob's finest moments. Aha, an admission from you, but can't win them all. Well, there's a lot of can't win them alls in Rob's resume, and I'll just say that. Most of the ESPN crowd liked it. We're not the ESPN crowd. I think you figured that out by now. We're not that rest of the media. We see things how they really are, not how they want to go ahead and portray them. But again, you would have to take a look back at those episodes to see if that's the case. I tried looking for you, the Ox at Camelback. Oh, Left. You need help, buddy. You really need some help. But is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Yes, Jeremy said speaking of Rob Pelinka, there was a Rob Pelinka sighting today. Yeah, he's impressed. Maybe he has to be more out in front with, like I was talking about, Jeremy, before you came in, about how there's so much more. Well, I say so much more. There's a little more pressure with all the Dodgers execs around Rob Pelinka now. Maybe there's a little bit more pressure to be a little bit more visible. I don't know. Again, I'm not there in El Segundo, but sometimes you can put these things together and come up with it with your own narrative. But there you go. Left said, my wife and I were looking for. Boy, you're glad you should be glad you're not around for when Joe and I were back in the day, about a year ago, talking about the old thing where people were talking about divorcing, and Joe kept asking for pictures to take a look at their wives. So yeah, and you would rate them. Yeah, those were interesting times. But yes, Arcarino says, "Hey Joe, safe travels back home." Yeah, I think he said he would be available to pop on the show. Maybe he is back at the house by now because I'm doing a later episode than I thought, but we'll have to wait and see. El Rosto says Westbrook, Pat Bev, Mo Bamba, Lonnie Walker, DeAndre Jordan, and Beast. to just name a few. To just name a few, indeed. And looking who we have here. The man who left has been hoping that he would yell at him now for some time. It is, of course, the guy behind, of course, going on with the Joe Soro experiment, and of course, company Simblade, simblades.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. I'm assuming you're on the road because I could hear the mobile feedback already. Great game by the defense, getting the job done, and the fact that LeBron wasn't there, 9-2 record for Luka and Austin without LeBron. A lot of fingers are being pointed during and after today's game and saying, I told you so.
Well, there was a play 3 minutes, I think it was the 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter where I was telling this to my cousin. I'm at his place right now in Surprise, Arizona.
Hello, Gerald.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
There was a sequence where I think there were a couple of trailers that had to run back to cover a 5-on-3, and that's the thing with the NBA these days is everyone's so fixated on the damn 3-point line that the Knicks had like a 5-3, advantage, and then they started throwing the ball on the perimeter. I'm like, go to the hole, dude. The game is like at its brink where you could get some momentum, where you could maybe make a run to maybe win the game. But I think it was Kennard, and then I saw Reaves, and man, they were jetting to their guy, and they did it, and they actually executed the man-on-man defense to the point where they couldn't get a clear shot, and then they missed the shot. And that was the play right after that. I'm like, that's it. They're gonna win the game. They absolutely killed on that particular play for me, and it was kind of like a proud moment because, and I'm gonna say this because it's true. It's not because I'm trying to be in the moment with everybody in the LeBron thing, but LeBron can't make that play anymore because he risks getting himself injured. It wasn't easy. That's a young man's return. So the question is, are the Lakers better without LeBron? The answer is they will be. That's my answer is they will be better without LeBron because, like Stu Lance says, it's a young man's game, and young men can play much more intense basketball on a daily basis than LeBron James can, even if he wanted to. Because if he went all out, he would bust a tire. It's just what it is. There's nothing else we can do.
Just to give you a heads up, Carino, Jerry is a common nickname for Gerald. My dad, who is also named Gerald, I'm not a junior, by the way, different middle names, but my dad was a Gerald, but who he preferred Jerry. I prefer Gerald, but Jerry's cool with me. I've been called Jerry so much over the course of my life, I have no issues with it. So, especially from my friends in Australia like Jeremy. So, all is good here. But again, it is the Lakers fast break. Lakers do win 110-97. That's the argument was going on in Discord, Joe, and while you were not there, between Alan and Mark in regards to the fact that you've heard from Alan. He is convinced that the Lakers would be better getting LeBron back, even if it's at the minimum. And Mark is, as you know, Mark is adamantly against bringing back LeBron under any circumstances. Alan asked me today my honest opinion, and I said I'm just tired of the noise. I just think at some point in time, you've got to cut bait. He has been a great part of this Lakers team. He got the Lakers a championship. I am thankful for that. I'm glad that he broke all these records with him in a Lakers uniform. But I just think at some point in time, you got to tell the homecoming queen, I just got to move on. I got to go to college. I got to go spend the rest of my life. I'm not going to be here with you anymore. At some point in time, you got to do it. I just think now is that time, Joe.
Yeah, it's no different than it's no different than Indianapolis when they won the first pick and picked Andrew Luck. You know, Peyton Manning could still play. And he ended up winning another MVP and breaking records and winning another Super Bowl, actually, with Denver. This team has to be Luka Doncic's team, and LeBron takes too much of the atmosphere, regardless of his play. It's just the atmosphere at this point. It needs to be. It needs to be gone. It can't be. It has to be just the Luka world. And part of why I don't criticize Luka as much as some people seem to want that when Luka doesn't have a game that they like or he's complaining about things is Luka's talent would justify him being more of a diva, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that from him. I didn't see it when Kyrie was on that team. I didn't see it when Austin Reaves earlier in the year was playing like almost like the number one guy on the team. I don't see it with LeBron on the team when he's playing. I don't see it when LeBron's not on the like. I think Luka Doncic has shown a lot of professionalism, and maybe this is a European thing. Maybe this is them being taught a certain way in terms of team basketball overseas, where you embrace the camaraderie, you embrace the team concept regardless of what's going on. Because you never saw that stuff with like Bill Walton. You never saw that with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar either. Because those guys came from storied programs where the great coaches told them, "Listen, you got to be able to incorporate your talent and make sure it still works with the team concept."
I'm just going to say this again. I think the Lakers, they're better off in the future without one of those big three because it's clear that those three just do not mesh well because we don't get very often great games from all those three. I go to OKC, they have a big three that they rely on, that they pay for, Joe, or they will be paying for next season, starting next season. They seem to all be in the right positions that play off each other well enough, as we've seen, to get a championship. I just don't see that happening for the big three here with the Lakers.
There is no big three. I don't know why I keep hearing that. There is no big three. There's a big one right now. And Austin Reaves is great, but I mean he's good, but he's not great. So big three needs to, kind of be put away. I don't know why we always have to put big three on teams that have three players that are the 1, 2, and 3 on the team. The most important thing right now is we saw some things tonight. I'm going to use tonight's example or today's example as an important factor in what needs to happen next. Kennard hit some shots. Rui hit some shots at the beginning of the game, but towards the end, there weren't enough open shots being made. This game should have been done probably at the halfway mark. And Luka Doncic needs snipers. You give that man snipers, and he is going to ruin your life. The man is ruining people's lives, and he's got a shadow with the man that's covering him every game. They got to throw the ball over the building to get him the ball when he brings his dribble back, passes it to Jackson Hayes, and then Jackson Hayes has to loop it back to him, right? Like, how many times did we see that today, right? That's all because all they're doing is concentrating on Luka Doncic. They don't have to worry about anybody else until you find that guy. Because Austin Reaves, his deficiency, which I wish he had gotten better at, was can he hit open shots? If he hit open shots, he'd be a perennial all-star. That would help the team immensely, but that's not his game. Ball control, getting to the basket, creating contact, getting an N1, that's a lot of his game. And then he hits timely shots every now and then. So if you cannot double team Luka Doncic because your team is set perfectly for his skill set, you're going to see him probably average 35, 36 points a game. The only reason why he wouldn't average 35 and 36 points a game is because he's probably sitting the fourth quarters probably at least 10, 12 times a year.
Carino, I just wanted to say, to answer your question, Joe doesn't want him back under any circumstances. And for me, what kind of behavioral change would I accept for him coming back? Even if he was on the minimum, he would still make it about himself. He always makes it about himself, and that's just who he is. That is who he is and who he has been. That's part of the noise I'm talking about. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Nobody can ever take that away from him. But it just so much noise has always come with LeBron for quite some time now. It just he's 41. He's not going to change. And I, as a billionaire who's making a lot more than I am, it doesn't really need to change, in his opinion, nor should he, because again, he has been very successful at what he's doing. But I am just at this point, I think it's just time to move on, and I'll just leave it at that. Any thoughts on that, Joe? I mean, I don't think you would bring him back under any circumstances.
No, unless they win it all. That's the only acceptance. And then even then, I'd only sign him to a 1-year deal. And no matter what happens next year, he has to go. Because I still believe that 2027, the end of 2027 is when the Lakers are going to have a team that they're going to be able to have enough time to draft this year, draft next year, and accumulate talent around Luka, possibly around Austin there as well, so that they can compete for a championship year in and year out. They're going to need a couple off seasons for this to work. So that would be the perfect timing for that. But it would have to be a win, a title win this year. And then I'd sign him. Give him another shot at that point, because that's the ultimate earning in my view. Despite all his negative vibes off the court, his management, his agency, whatever. That's it. There's no other way. They don't win a championship, LeBron's done. That's it. That's my ultimatum on that.
To let you know, Jeremy, before I get to Stefan's comment right here, which I truly appreciate, Caruso's next 3 seasons totals to about $60 million as a total. So it's about $20 million a year. But it'll be for his 32, 33, and 34 seasons. So essentially he'll be in his mid 30s, averaging about 20 million a year. He is often injured, but if he's available, obviously he gives you what you need on the defensive end. So no one can ever argue with his effort and intensity on defense on that. So, I mean, bringing him back would be great, but that would just be a mistake that would be admitted by Rob Pelinka. So very rarely do these GMs admit mistakes by bringing back the guy that they let go in the first place. So at a much higher rate, mind you. So I don't see that happening unless a new GM would be involved. That would be the thing. And speaking of Rob and GM, Stefan Piscano podcast, go ahead, like and subscribe on YouTube. Truly appreciate the super chat. He says he wasted 4 hours looking up all the stats today, 13-7 without LeBron. Really 13-6 because the Spurs game starter stat. That was that one we were really pissed off at. 9-2 when AR and Luka played no LeBron. Luka is averaging 35, 35, 9 and 8 in 14 games, and AR is 28 points a game in 15 games without LeBron. So yes, you can clearly see that the ball usage goes up and their stats are affected by it. And the team's record overall is affected by it as well, Joe.
Yeah. I'm trying not to pay attention to that stuff. I'm still ahead of this, and I'll enjoy the games as they progress. But I'm not really thinking about this year as much in my own thoughts. There's been comments on the chat about, do we have to rebuild until next year? The reality is yes, unless there are certain acquisitions that happen this summer that would, and they'll have cap room to do this, right? Mm-hmm. There's certain acquisitions they can put together to where they could get players that would fit this team and that would give them enough star power, enough role player assets to maybe go into 2026 with some momentum and be able to compete for a title next year. Looking at the free agent crop, looking at an anticipation of what certain teams may have to do in terms of not being in the second apron. We had discussed Lou Dort at
Yes.
Oklahoma City, right? So let's just say hypothetically, I'm not saying he's going to be available. He may not. There's a possibility. I don't know, but I'm gonna give you a scenario here. Let's say the Lakers somehow find a way to make a deal to get Giannis, and then if they're able to acquire Lou Dort also and draft somebody this year that is a potential defender, not an elite defender, but at least a good defender who can make a couple shots. And then, of course, you likely would have to give up on Austin Reaves in that deal for Giannis, so he's not coming back. So if you were able to acquire a young player that can be an immediate impact in the draft this year, and then you have a Giannis, and then some of the exemptions you can bring in even more depth, and then you have somebody like a Kennard that you can bring back. You have Laravia, who is a year in. Maybe he'll get better next year. Like that's how this is how the steps kind of start and start fast.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a way for them to get going a little quicker than we hope. But I think it's gonna be a process because drafting is going to be paramount in today's NBA CBA. It's just they're not allowing player movement anymore. It would have to be really calculated for them to do that because it's so confusing, it's so elaborate, it's so demanding in how you form these trades that you don't know if you have to almost give up the future to get the impact player now. You can't do both anymore.
Once again, it is the Lakers winning 110-97. They, even though they're tied with Denver, they're actually technically in fifth place in the Western Conference. Intel Wild on the super chat says not to make it political because he knows how much I don't like it political. But LeBron will tweet and speak up on BLM, but never talks about child labor laws in China. Intel, I want him to just stop tweeting about hourglasses. I want him to stop tweeting about being on a yacht with Nikola Jokic's agent on the south of France. And I certainly don't want him tweeting or Instagramming about exercising in front of a Clippers logo. I can do away with that. That's just part of the noise I don't want. Or about another decision. I don't want it. I don't want it. That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want him tweeting about. I'm done with that. I'm done with all that ambiance about having to go ahead, passive aggressiveness, all that stuff. I'm just done with that. That's the stuff I don't want him to tweet about and post about and Instagram about. I just wish he would stop doing that, but I don't think he ever will because that's just who he is. And I have to respect that, but I don't have to like it. But that's just who he is. Again, he is much more successful than I, so I cannot complain too much about it. And he is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but I do not have to like the fact that he does all that extra stuff, which has allowed me to think at this point in time, Joe, that again, even at the price of a minimum, veterans minimum, I don't think I want that anymore.
No, and I don't think he's going to take that deal just out of pride. And as far as outside activities from the court, most celebrities who think they're being righteous usually are going to come off hypocritical because I think people it doesn't matter if they're LeBron James, doesn't matter if there's some schmuck online yapping about something. They'll manifest something in their own head thinking that they're not what is the word I'm looking for here? That they're not part of the problem. And it's just it's a typical human being selfish trait that manifests as people get older. People with power and money usually are worse because they feel entitled because they have this admiration from the public and all those things. And it's always going to be a touchy thing because there's usually a pretty big divide, either or. You're going to piss somebody off on one side, and you're going to make someone happy on the other. That's usually not the right way to go. My advice is always to piss off both sides because that means you're not agreeing to either one, and usually that's the right answer.
You piss off both sides? How does that happen, Joe?
Well,
You're such a nice and congenial person.
Life is. I was just speaking about this today with some of my family here. That we sit down and we philosophize, if you will. It's a word I learned one of my favorite movies in the 90s. It's not even a real word, I don't think. But life's a scale. Some things you got to understand aren't the same today as they were yesterday. Sometimes that happens. I'm not the same guy I was 5 years ago. I wasn't the same guy 5 years before then. Like, people, again, fall in love with the message. They don't fall in love with the reality of things. And LeBron was the guy that really championed talking out his ass as big of a superstar as he was. They try to get Jordan to do stuff. I don't know if they ever tried to get Kobe to do anything. Kareem, I know that was a little bit of a different time. That had more validity to it because there was major issues, with what was going on at the time. We all know what Will Chamberlain thought about that during that time. I think he was pretty adamant about not wanting to get involved. So in the end, it depends on where it's coming from and how it's being delivered, at least for me. For me, it's something that I like. I'd rather discuss face to face with people instead of get on the horn and act like I know what the hell I'm talking about, even though I do. But
what about like the Celtics coach?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, the end game here is coming. Pardon the pun there, Gerald. LeBron James is likely going to be playing the last, I'd say, 6 weeks for the Lakers. And I told you guys on a previous show that I'm kind of sad about the LeBron era ending because I respect his game. I respected his basketball greatness. But much like Indianapolis had to let Peyton Manning go, much like the Niners had to eventually let Joe Montana go, this has to be done. It has to be Luka's team, and we have to start getting the young studs here, the guys that are there in the early 20s, mid-20s, and seasoned late 20s, so that this team can really, really take advantage of Luka Doncic's prime, which in my view of an NBA player's prime starts between 28 and usually ends around 33, barring any injury. So Luka just turned 27. And the reason why I use that age is 28 was the same age that Jordan won his first championship and Shaq won his first championship.
Arcarino is in the chat. Great to have him here. He says, Gerald and Joe, other than winning the 2020 championship, how did LeBron improve the team overall? Again, ignoring 2020's championship and his own NBA stat achievements. Good question.
He did in 2020, and he was on an MVP path in 2021 until Solomon Assface ruined it. And then was it 2021 or was it 2019, Gerald?
I think it was 2019. It was before the title, not after the title.
Okay, so 2019, he was ascending, okay? And what happened, it was almost like a Scott Williams on Karl Malone flashback for me. It really sucked. And then that year went to shit, right? Because he had a bunch of young players. They were all playing well towards the end, and it went away. 2020, I remember the first couple months that they were playing. They were losing the close games against really good teams at that point, but they were creaming every mid-tier, low-tier team. I felt real good about how they were playing because AD was such a dominant defender and playing as, in my view, probably the best year he ever played in the NBA. And then LeBron was running and gunning and was leading the league in assists and eventually won the assist title, which was the perfect team for him. He was just running and gunning, right? 2021, they had to deal with the fact that the season that came up was kind of short-lived, and then they had to start up again.
Oh no, it's
And
2021. You're right. You're right. It's 2020.
was it? Okay, yeah. So that's what I thought. So
2019 is when he hurt the groin.
yes, that's it. Thank you. I thought I was getting confused there. So 2020, besides 2020, 2021 was on the path of in my view, a back-to-back championship, but injuries destroyed it. And then Rob Pelinka put Conan the Barbarian sword right in the freaking chest of the Lakers after that. And that was it. They have never recovered from that Westbrook trade. They still have not recovered from it.
That's one of the all-time worst trades in Laker history, if not the worst trade.
I
in
think
Lakers
it's the
history.
worst. And I'm not going to front. I supported it because I thought LeBron has played with everyone that he's ever played with. Didn't matter if it was a ball controlling, ball handling guard. Didn't matter if it was a Chris Bosh who needed the ball from 13 to 4. Like, it didn't matter. And I was dead wrong because based off history at that time, I thought it would work. But we quickly realized that Russell Westbrook was on his way down. And
I saw that again, Joe. I based it off of the bubble when that Houston series where the Lakers just left him alone and he took Houston out of that series single-handedly. And I'm like, that's not the guy I want on my team. I said that on the air then. And again, I understand what he can bring. I understand what he can do at the right Westbrook, but that you could see, Joe, that is beginning to not be the Westbrook that you knew from previous times.
And that was the problem. So you have Frank. I thought the other part, the secondary part, was the treatment of Frank Vogel. I thought that was, I would say, and I don't talk about this a lot. I thought the disrespect that they gave Frank Vogel played a huge part in why I started to not like Jeannie and Rob. Because that guy was the perfect coach for that team. And then to have to also see a malcontent like Russell Westbrook denigrate Frank Vogel and then Jeannie and Rob justify it when they had no reason to justify it. I thought that was a lacking of professionalism and any empathy and any respect for a man who in my view guided your team to a championship. And sorry, Mark, but this is going to hurt you. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Winning a championship that took 10 months to win, having to be in a hotel room for 3 months is as mentally taxing when it comes to sports as it can get. And the fact that they won, first of all, those courts are the same courts as any other court in the NBA. The sound when I was watching and the competition that was there, I didn't sense a single game that wasn't intense. I never saw one game that looked like it wasn't working in terms of the intensity, the way Jokic was playing, the way LeBron was playing, the way any of these guys, Jamal Murray, all these guys were playing their butts off. So what difference does it make if they're playing on Pluto or are playing in Orlando in a
and you got to remember that the home court advantage was gone.
Okay,
the home court, everything that the Lakers earned before the coronavirus, gone.
Yeah,
gone.
And the Lakers were ascending to another level before everything got shut down. There's no reason why the Lakers wouldn't have done exactly what they did should the season had been normal. And again, they didn't play on clay court. They didn't play on a clay court. They didn't play in something small. They didn't have the rims down to 9.5. Like, everything is the same. It's a basketball court. And you go back and watch that Miami series and you tell me that guys like Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, all those guys weren't busting their ass and making shots and trying to make everything difficult for the Lakers to lose. And they still didn't lose. That was a very tough fought finals.
Yeah, it was. They played their hearts out. You saw that.
The only reason why it gets shit on because it's LeBron James. Because you know how I know, Gerald? You know how I know? You know how I know? Yeah. Because before the bubble, all I heard for 8 years was if it wasn't for Ray Allen hitting the shot, LeBron would have X amount of championships, which was by far the dumbest argument you could probably have in basketball.
And Giannis himself, when Giannis tells you he goes there and he said, because they had issues, if you remember him and the LA Clippers, they were about ready to leave the facility. He said it was the toughest it's ever been for him as a basketball player during that period of time in the bubble. I don't know, and that's someone that's playing for another team, a star playing for another team, telling you that. And the Lakers, all that home court advantage. Again, I got to. That's the thing people forget. They're playing in front of a sterile bunch of TVs. It's a sterile of audiences that you could ever play in front of. They were playing in front of a TV, in front of a set of TVs. That's all they were doing. And they were still playing their butts off, but their home court advantage was gone. It's absolutely gone. They weren't playing in the Crypt. They weren't playing in somewhere else. They were playing in a neutral court, which alleviates all signs of the home court advantage you worked so hard before coronavirus hit. And again, anybody who argues with her or just is jealous because the bubble championship because it wasn't their team winning it just smacks of jealousy and idiocy when you don't put any thought into it. It just You lost your home court. Everything you worked for was gone, and you still came out the winner. And that's what I think impresses me most, Joe, is people saying how tough it was to be away from their families, to be under those strict rules, the strict guidelines that they had. You couldn't go out even to do the. I forgot which player grabbed the food from the delivery guy and had to quarantine for an extra 3 days or something like that. But yeah, see, again, those kind of
Lou Williams.
parameters. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Lou Williams, indeed. Yeah, well, he went to Atlanta.
Chicken Wing Williams.
No, he went to Atlanta. That's what got him busted. There was somebody else that actually just picked up a food and stepped over the.
I'm sure Legend can confirm this, Gerald. I have heard that they make really good chicken wings in Atlanta.
Well, they're having a magic city this week. Ironically, they're having in Atlanta a Magic City dedication night with wing specials, and guess who the opponent is? The Orlando Magic. So there you go. Absolutely. No, I heard they're really good too. And I'll just leave it at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers. They do get the victory 110-97. I don't know. Oh, his computer crashed, guys. It's updating now. Okay. I know that you guys were worried about what happened to Legend. I didn't kick him out. No, his computer crashed. His computer kicked him out. So hopefully he will get back on with us before we head on out. But yeah, Joe, again, a good victory. The fifth one of the season against an above 600 team, and 3 of those wins were in the first, I think, couple weeks of the season. So this is a statement win for the Lakers, but they got to go ahead and back it up with another victory on Tuesday against Minnesota. They have got a tough schedule ahead. In fact, at the end of the week, they have Denver as well. So the schedule does not get any easier anytime soon for the Lakers.
No, and that's why they have to win these home games, so that when the road games come, if they finish 500, it's a little bit more tolerable, so that they can stay in the non-play-in series, the very least. So I'm not paying too much mind on how the season will end here. I'm just going to kind of ride it game by game, and then at that point, see if they can figure something out that maybe would surprise us. And I only bring that up because I saw my other team really not do well during the regular season in certain areas of the game, and then completely turn it 180 degrees the other way when it mattered. So
Rashawn Holmes, by the way, it was Rashawn Holmes. He stepped over the line picking up a food delivery. That's who broke quarantine. We all know about Lou Williams. He went to Atlanta. Yes, but Rashawn Holmes is the answer to your trivia question, guys out there, because he's the one who went out and picked up the delivery food right outside the demarcation line, and they had to be quarantined extra days. That was crazy. Those were crazy times, Joe. Those were crazy times. But again,
see, here in America, so I'm gonna give you a little history of how things were where I was at. I didn't give a fuck.
I know you.
And I took advantage. See, when something happens, you have to be able to, as a grown ass, virile man with some balls, figuratively, literally, however you want to take it. It's your job to figure it out. And the benefits of COVID was empty freeways while everyone else was scared in their fucking closet like a bunch of fucking bitches. But that was an advantage to me, right? I use it as an advantage, even though I was cracking on them. It was good because I could actually drive the 101. Gerald, you remember the 101?
Yes.
I drove the 101 north. I drove the 101 in LA north at 1 p.m. during the weekday, and there was like 4 cars. It was the greatest freeway I've ever seen in my life.
I'll never know what you're knowing when it comes to the 101.
It was it was kind of a I Am Legend type atmosphere without the weeds growing in between the asphalt. But holy shit, I got to the Universal Studios in an hour and 23 minutes from Temecula. That drive is a 2-hour drive if I'm lucky. It's usually 2:15, 2:20. So I'm not here to judge someone's feelings on isolation, government decisions. In America, for those who are not in America, and I learned this in the dispensary business of all places, this is America. You can tell anybody go fuck themselves. And we were doing that a lot. The ones who had the balls to do it. There was a place that served actually pretty damn good wings, now that you were talking about it, down the street from me. I told the guy he's owned that Sky, it's called Sky Bar. He's owned that place since I've been here 17 years almost. And I said, and he was playing back and forth with the city because the city was trying to do something, the county was trying to do something, and he would open up and he would serve food and he would try to have a normal atmosphere. We still followed the mask thing if we could. We weren't stubborn assholes, but it's like, dude, I got to go eat. I want to kind of, it's fucking outside, right? He had a patio. We were outside, okay? Chillax. No one's going to get sick here. Anyways, I told him, I said, you're going to have my business for life. I don't care if I have to crawl over here. I go, thank you for doing what you did. And that's what a lot of us did here. But then, it takes some sack to do it. A lot of people don't live in America, and that's the really good part about living in America is you still have that choice no matter what's going on. When I learned it. I learned even through a pandemic, you can still tell. I wasn't vulgar with this lady in Hawaii when I was in Hawaii a few months later, but a lady telling me to put a mask on after I've been in a fucking plane for 7 hours, breathing the Hawaii air outside, waiting for the fucking Hertz van to come pick me up so I can get my fucking rental car. This fucking lady's like, put your mask on. Put your mask on. And she was doing it in a quiet voice because she was taking a really big, I got to give her, she had the balls to say it. But then when I kind of woke up out of my gaze of smelling the Hawaii air, I looked right at her and I said, mind your own damn business. That's America. If you ever wanted to know what America was, that's right there what it is. A grown-ass man like me telling an old lady sitting down, shut the fuck up. Anyways, not validating greatness is, to me, weak and lazy. And the constant criticism of greatness is tired. And I'm tired of listening. I'm not going to do it at the expense of LeBron James either. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. Even if he wasn't a Laker, I wouldn't do it. You still have Celtic fans, the fucking dipshits that they are, saying, you guys don't have 17 championships. You only have 12. It's like, dude, do you want to just start everything when you want things to start? Fuck you. How about that? How about when the Buffalo Braves and the Boston Celtics traded ownerships in 1976? What about that? Are we going to start yapping about that now? Like, when does it end? When does credit need to be given? And at the same time, understanding that the end is time. It's here. It's over. We know it. Things end. I'm sorry. And you hand it to LeBron. He stretched it out as much as he can, as anybody's ever have. Great. Good for him. But it's time to move on, but also respect what was there. And nothing you say online, nothing you say on a show is not going to change the Larry O'Brien trophy in El Segundo. Nothing's going to, or the Crypt. Nothing's going to change the record book saying the Lakers are the 2020 NBA champions. Nothing's going to change that the Lakers don't have 17 NBA championships. By the way, they have an NBL championship that doesn't count. Also, you don't see us bitching about it every other week. So stop bitching about everything. Move on. It's okay. You can like LeBron, dislike LeBron, and also still appreciate what he has and appreciate that this needs to move on.
All right. And with that, again, it is the Lakers winning 110-97. Stefan Piscano podcast says, welcome back, Joe. Good to have the gang back together. I much appreciated for the super chat indeed. Also here today, good man indeed. It is, of course, the man who is also a great part of what he does with his own channel, I Got Next Sports Media. It is, of course, Legend. Legend, great to have you here. Intel on the last super chat he made mentioned as we went into a little bit of a diversion to the COVID year and about Lou Williams and those chicken wings. Isn't that game this week between the Hawks and Magic, Legend?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The one that's sponsored by
Oh, yeah.
Magic City, indeed. Yes, there it is.
Check out that place, guys. Check it out.
If you go to Atlanta, and it's not hard, guys, to go to Atlanta. Atlanta is a hub for the entire East Coast for their airport, Legend, as you know. So it is not hard to get in, out, pardon the pun, of Atlanta and heading over to Magic City. And I'll just leave it at that. But Legend, great to have you here. The Lakers defense was on tap today, providing really good defense, especially around the perimeter. I think they held New York to 24%, I think, from three for the game. Only 8 threes made all game for the New York Knicks, a team that came in red hot, sizzling after their great performance in Denver. What do you attribute the game to as far as the success for the Lakers? And the little known fact, which is actually now widely known, that the Lakers are now 9-2 with Luka, Austin, and no LeBron.
Well, starting off with the game, first I can definitely say the Lakers defense showed up big time today. They did a number on the New York Knicks shooting percentage. The Knicks generally loves to shoot a lot of threes, and that percentage was pretty low today. And that's a lot of effort to the Lakers playing on defense. And Luka took a lot of charges, took a lot of hits today. So shout out to Luka on that part, just playing defense like that. Just the little things just make a big difference. And that's the effort that you just need to see more and more on a consistent basis. That makes a big difference on your defensive play. And that 9-2 part speaks a lot. It's kind of like I told somebody the other day, that you eventually have to move on from the LeBron James era. And this play that you see with Austin and Austin and Luka together being 9-2 speaks a lot of volume. I kind of figured when they would win today that a lot of LeBron fanboys would probably be in their feelings a little bit. But the stats, the numbers don't lie. It is the truth. They look a lot better without him. You can play a lot better when you don't have two people on the court who literally play the exact same way. With either LeBron or Luka, LeBron or Austin. All three of them play almost identical to each other. Two people can probably work. Three is kind of overdoing it. And at this point, three's the crowd. LeBron's the odd man. He the older person there. So it look a whole lot better when it just Luka and Austin. It looks good. It looks a lot cleaner. Look more fluid. And I even think LeBron probably deep down knows it too, that this team will look a lot better when I probably leave. So you can't ignore the facts that the team looks better without him. So, and the big three just haven't worked that great. So to me today, this definitely showed that the numbers are not lying. What you saw early on in the season was the truth, and you just saw it today against a good New York Knicks team. So you just got to give them credit. I'm sorry, LeBron fan. Truth hurts. Get out your feeling and get over it. Go drink some wine and get over it. You feel better.
You kill me on that one. I can't say I disagree with you. Again, I'm just waiting for the LeBron era to end. And I know that again, I was asked by Alan whether or not I wanted to keep him at the minimum for next year. I just said, let's just move on. It's just time to move on. I think it's best for all parties concerned. And there you go. Tough So is asking Joe if this is Aiton's best game of the season. If you looked on the scoreboard and just trusted the scoreboard, no, 6 points, 8 rebounds. But his activity level was some of the best we've seen from him his entire season. And before I do that, as far as I get it to you on DeAndre Ayton, I do want to mention Intel Wild. Truly appreciate the super chat. He said he went to a strip club in Orange County during COVID, Joe. This young lady brings him a sandwich, and he said no, he didn't want it. But she said we have to give you food to show that we're essential.
Well, that's a good one.
He wasn't there for the food, young lady. I'll leave it at that. But getting back to DeAndre, again, it doesn't show up in the scoreboard with also as well to an same extent Marcus Smart, because Marcus Smart was terrible on the offense. But these guys brought effort on the defensive end. Marcus Smart, the predominant guarder against Brunson, and then with DeAndre Ayton, very active in how he played Cat. Your thoughts on their activity level on the defensive end today for DeAndre Ayton? Do you think it was his best performance of the season?
No, I don't. I'm disappointed that he couldn't continue it throughout in a 48-minute game. They had to put in Jackson Hayes in there to save his ass again at the end. Marcus Smart, let's give Marcus some credit here. There were several attempts of him given the ball wide open, and he didn't take it. And you've heard me say this before, guys, because this is the one thing that that has driven me nuts about the LeBron legacy is he always makes the right play. Folks, for those of you that haven't heard it before, there is no such thing as the right play if the shot doesn't go in. I don't give a shit if the guy is sitting and vacationing in the corner. If he's not making that shot, like Marcus Smart wasn't the last few games, guess what? Marcus kept the ball moving. Yes, he had an open shot, and there were some people on some of my Laker ball chats were like, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. And then I'd have to respond with, did you guys not watch what happened against Denver? Everyone was on him, right? Well, guess what? Marcus adjusted. He said, I'm not going to take the shot. I don't have the confidence to hit it. But he kept the ball moving. So let's give Marcus some credit. I also love that play where him and Jackson Hayes, again, thank you, their effort on that one play where I thought New York had the rebound, and then Jackson came out of nowhere and did a deep fish, dove on the ball, ruffled the ball up, and then all of a sudden somehow it got into Marcus Smart's hands because he was running around like a freaking chicken with his head cut off, got the ball midair, threw it back to the Knicks player, and then got the ball back because it was out of bounds. So those plays, believe it or not, guys, I know sometimes we don't think of those plays as being momentum shifters all the time, but that kind of play foreshadowed that play I told you at the 3-minute mark that eventually, in my view, put the game away. When you have that kind of effort, when you have that kind of focus, it doesn't have to be the stars that do that stuff. It's usually the guys that are the minimal guys. Those were really good signs from these guys that they made the smart play, and they, pardon the pun, and they made sure that there was another opportunity to have a shot go in or a shot be attempted to go in. And they struggled. They struggled making shots towards the end. It just wasn't, the ball wasn't going in on some of those open shots for Rui. I think Kennard hit one. Obviously, Luka did what he did. But in the end, their defense was 48 minutes, played well, and it was a combination of the Knicks missing some shots as well. And it was a nice win. I'd say it's the best win post All-Star game by far.
Once again, it is the Lakers winning 110-97. Intel, I'm not sure what's going on with the super chats. I displayed all of them on my end. I don't, and I hope you guys were able to see it, but I don't know why you can't click on it and then it disappears on you on YouTube. I'll try to take a look at it while I have Legend go ahead and share his thoughts. The Lakers tied for fifth place. They are in fifth place, tied with the Denver Nuggets. But again, you've got Minnesota and Denver on the docket for this week among their games here in as far as in the future. Your thoughts, my friend? Again, it's a great win today against a above 600 team, but it's only as good as what you follow it up with the Lakers.
Yeah, today is definitely a great win going toward the standings, and you just got to kind of add on to it. It kind of does makes up for losing to Denver the other night, and then with Houston losing today, that helps out a lot too. With Houston getting smacked by the Spurs, so that helps out a good little bit. At this point, you just got to build on upon it. You got to go into Tuesday night knowing that this is a must-win game against the Timberwolves. You need this game. Right now, you are tied up with Denver. You got a chance to jump over Denver if you were to go beat Minnesota. 9 out of 10, Denver is probably going to lose to Oklahoma unless something changes. So that's a good opportunity to jump over them. So you got to capitalize on this opportunity and just take advantage of these chances going against these Western Conference teams. This is a chance you can't really pass up. There's a real opportunity to jump from 6 to 3 right now. There's a path. You just got to do your part and then see how the chips fall with the rest of the teams.
Joe, let me bring it back to you. 64 games in, 18 games left on the season. The Lakers did win 50 last year. I know that Intel was in here earlier saying, with the additions that the Lakers made, he thinks they're a better team than last season. 11. So they would have to go 11-7 to get to 50 wins to tie what happened last year. Are your thoughts? Do you think this is a better team than last season, even though ultimately the odds say that they may not finish as high as they did last season?
Luka's better.
I agree there.
LeBron is a little bit worse.
I agree there.
Reaves is, let's say, even because he's got the injury. If he hadn't got the injury, he'd be better. I was banking on DeAndre Ayton being the difference down low this time because that's what they were missing against Minnesota. But if the Lakers have to go into the playoffs with Jackson Hayes closing out games, unless they play Houston in the first round, whom I always thought would turn into what they've been turned into lately, I don't see how they're going to be able to make it out the first round.
Legend, I'll bring the same.
Luka's going to have to turn on the 2024 Luka.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't know if I want that kind of. I mean, I guess it is what it is. He's 27. I guess he probably has enough juice to do it, not be affected for the future seasons. But not having a guy down low that could play against the Goberts, the Wembeyamas, the Chet Holmgrens, there's no chance at that point because we saw what happened last year, and I'd even mention Jokic because these guys can't finish games against these teams the last 3 years. They've been getting beat at the end of the game every time. And the one thing that has pissed me off about JJ Redick's coaching since Luka's been there is he has not been able to form some kind of set to get Luka clutch shots opportunities. I cannot understand why he's not doing that. I don't understand it. And I haven't heard anybody ask him this question. Why are they not getting him the ball in spots to where he can win the game at the end? They need to do that. And it can't just be him at the top of the key dribbling, because they're trapping his ass. They're not letting him do anything. That's a coaching issue right there. You got to make sure you get Luka Doncic open for a game-winning shot at the end of these games. And he has not done that in a year plus that Luka's been there. This is the clutchest guy that the Lakers have had since Kobe Bryant. Get him the fucking ball with some room so he can win you a game at the end. But they can't even they can barely inbound the ball, right? I mean, I'm at my wit's end on this. This is the one part that I've been pretty relentless on. I cannot figure out why they're not getting the ball to Luka in clutch moments like that. That needs to stop. You want to have a chance to win those games, you got to get the ball to your clutch player, the most clutch player. And that's my assessment on that.
Intel Wild said, not so much the record-wise, Podfather, but our team is much deeper this season. With Kennard, they're a little bit deeper, obviously, but they're still one of the worst benches productivity-wise in the league. Jackson Hayes has had a good season. Laravia's been up and down. Laravia's better as a starter. I mean, just statistically, he looks like he's been better.
Hey, El Rosto, watch your mouth, okay? I don't want to hear any lip from you.
Wow.
We need to tell Luka to move around and get open. This guy over here.
Was Bronny on the bench? I think he and Aduthiero were optioned to the G League. They've been playing extensive time in the G League, and I think they were again listed on the injury report as of yesterday, being in the G League. I don't know if they were brought back. I'll have to take a look. But I just think, again, the bench is still an issue, Legend, with this team. They are a little bit deeper than they have. I mean, I do not foresee JJ going to a 5-man, lineup and sticking to it for an entire second half of the playoffs like he did in that one game against Minnesota. With Hayes playing at a better level than he's probably played in any of the seasons, with Luke Kennard there playing really good for the Lakers. Again, Laravia is up and down, but I do think that this team is a little bit deeper than they were last season. Do you think it's a better team than they were last season, Legend?
I'm kind of torn on that one. My mind says I think last year was still maybe a little bit better because it was a higher ranking at this point. But I can understand too why some people may think this year team's better. I lean more into maybe last year, but the next week or two could change my mind depending on how they finish up towards the end of the season and how they go into this playoff run. I'm gonna lean towards maybe last year right now. Still a little bit better, just with the better record and everything. But this year's team's not that far behind last year's though. It's not like they're a long ways apart. But I think last year's team was just a couple of inches more better.
They are deeper than last year's team. I will give that, but it's still, again, they're still producing at one of the worst levels in the NBA. But with Kennard, I think that the bench is much better than it was last season.
That was a much improvement.
Love Vando's instant karma. It's the funniest part of watching Lakers, El Rosto says. So, Joe, again, El Rosto's on Vando Hill, and my props to him for that. And thank you for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. You and I are not on Vando Hill. I mean, of the divisive players that are out there on the Lakers, LeBron is one. Then you go down the list. There's others. I mean, Luka, to an extent, is divisive to a certain part of this conversation in the chat. And then we have a player like Vando, who, again, can do certain things well with his activity level and can create havoc on the defensive end. On the offensive end, it's not been as smooth. But when it even gets to the point where it's acceptable, he stays out there on the floor, but it doesn't always look acceptable. Your thoughts on Jared Vanderbilt? I mean, today he gave you good effort as well. All the Lakers did. All the Lakers, including Maxi Kleber, who was a donut, still gave great effort when he was out there. You could clearly see something was motivating the Lakers today to have them provide that kind of effort on the defensive end. So with that, Joe, again, you and I are not on Vando Hill. Are we getting closer to at least the foot of that hill at this point in time?
No,
I didn't think so.
no, he's going to get exploited in the playoffs like he always does. Kleber also won't be able to be effective. It's sad that they got to put Jackson Hayes in the situation that he's not at his best.
And the problem is, Joe, in the playoffs, they clog the lane, which takes away a lot of the lobs the Lakers do.
If the Knicks had Hartenstein still, I think the Lakers lose today. And the Lakers are going to have to go through not they're going to have to go through elite centers to very, very, very good centers in the playoffs, whether it's Minnesota, Houston, Denver, Oklahoma City, it doesn't matter. And if they don't have somebody there that can at least do something of relevance against those guys, they're not going to be comfortable. They're not able to run and gun and tire these guys out either, or spread them out. They don't have enough consistent shooting either to make it work. Luka would have to go nuts. Luka would have to be 2024 Luka. But even Luka towards the end ran out of gas at the end. And so did Kyrie Irving in that run as well. He ran out of gas. There's only so much you can do when it's a 5-on-5 game and the other 5 players that you're playing against are fresh, young, and all are still playing very, very well together. It's always better to play very, very well together when you're 5 versus the other 2 guys on the other team. And then one drops off, the other's not consistent, whatever, then it's a problem. We saw that in the 2004 finals as well. It didn't work.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't think a top 15 center legend that DeAndre Ayton is, but again, I need to look at the entire starting centers right now in the NBA. So before I say that he is not definitively, I said before I put him around 18th to 21st. I think off the top of my head. But then again, I have to look at the starting centers in the league, even if they're not healthy. If they're like, for instance, Sabonis or Kessler, who are out for the rest of the season, I would have to actually conclude them in this list. So I'll have to look at 805. That's a good question. Is he a top 15 center? I don't think he's played like one this season, to be quite honest with you, especially because of the fact he's been so up and down. Legend, how do you see DeAndre Ayton? Again, 6 and 8 as far as it's concerned. If you're just going off the box score, that's under his his scoring level. But the effort he gave today, from what I saw, was the kind of DeAndre Ayton effort that I'd like to see more often. Legend, you still here with us? All right. And once again, it is the Lakers fast break. It is
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Your thoughts on DeAndre
Ayton? He's been kind of so-so. He's been a little kind of all over the place. And I still think I think he's still trying to figure himself out. But I think so he just gotta find that motivation to play. He wasn't like horrible, but he's been decent. But the last couple of games, you just can't really count on him. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, does he have the motivation? Like, do you even want to play basketball? It's just like it's just sometimes you just look, he just don't care, and like he kind of in his own head a little bit. So it's kind of so.
And El Rosto, I'm not saying I disagree with you on that. Put LeBron or Reeves, have them coming off the bench, but it's having that conversation, which will not take place. LeBron is not coming off the bench. And Austin, with a lot of money on the line, is probably not going to like that either when you speak to him on that. So I don't know. I would think for all practical purposes, it's better, Joe, if one came off the bench. But as you and I both know, the reality is that conversation is probably not going to happen.
And that plays into why this thing needs to be figured out this summer. I'm tired of having this conversation. This is about winning championships. I'm tired of feelings and who's going to be upset. Fuck your feelings. Fuck you being upset. We're trying to win a championship here. If Manu Ginobili can sit on the fucking bench, if Lamar Odom can sit on the bench, your stupid ass can sit on the bench, okay? Who the fuck are you guys if those guys are on the bench? And guess what? You know how many championships those guys won doing that shit? 5. Both those guys total. Lamar won 2, Manu won 3 being a bench player. So I don't want to hear this talk this summer and next year anymore. I'm sick of it. You know your role, know who you are. You don't have any championship teams in the past that didn't know what their role was. When your team still doesn't know what their role is, or you can't do this, you hear you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not going to win a championship. Everyone needs to know what's going on. Everyone needs to accept what's going on. If not, you trade their ass and get somebody that will. That part is why, that is the main reason why LeBron needs to go. Because we cannot keep having this discussion. And his dumbass agent yapping about Reaves really wasn't the nail in the coffin. It was just the nail in the coffin to clutch. These guys make Scott Boras look like an angel. That's how stupid they are. So and the Lakers have always had rats inside their doors, yapping about shit. I've told you about the LA Times writers and how they were a big part of creating the rift between Shaq and Kobe, saying that we never heard anything before Shaq and Kobe about whose team it was. I never heard once, is it McHale's team? Is it Bird's team? Is it Magic's team? Is it Kareem's team? Is it Michael Jordan's team? Is it Pippen's team? I did used to hear Pippen has more overall talent, blah, 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 than Jordan. I've heard, is it Hakeem's team? Is it Clyde Drexler's team? Is it Stockton's team? Is it? I never heard. How about Stockton and Malone? Did you ever hear it was Stockton and Malone? No. It only started in LA, and it got exacerbated by the pieces of shit from LA Times. And now those same pieces of shit, not directly exactly the same guys, but people like them that are online, that are doing podcasts, now are doing it to create drama. Oh my God. Luka yelled at JJ Redick. You could tell who's never played sports when they say stupid shit like that. I've fought people in practice. And you know what we did right afterwards?
What's that?
We went and had food at the we used to get those we call them spud, I call them spuds, but those potato finger thingies, fries, basically the big fries.
There you go.
So it's like,
Speaking of which, Arcarino's asking, did you get Culver's?
No. But I did have crab and shrimp 3 hours ago at a place called Angry Crab, and it was really good.
Oh, I've heard of them. Actually,
oh, and by the way, props to my guy Drip Show for again hosting another great spring training game. Last night was fucking awesome in terms of the weather, in terms of the atmosphere. I drank the Jalisco 22-ounce beer cans, and I got pretty lit. It was pretty fun and enjoyed the game. Unfortunately, they lost, but it's a spring training game. I didn't give a shit. It was fun. It's fun again. 2 years in a row that I've been here, and I'm gonna probably continue to be coming here and making an event every year.
By the way, left on foot. He was looking for you. Him and his wife.
Who?
Didn't catch you. Left on base. It was looking for you.
Jesus Christ, not again. What does he want now?
Well, first of all, he wants you to yell at him.
No, I'm not yelling at you. Why am I going to yell at you for what? And by the way, why were you looking for me with your wife? What does your wife have to do with anything? You better not be fucking with us.
He said he was. Where were you at? Which location in Arizona?
I was at Camelback.
Yeah, he said he was looking for you in Camelback. That's what
I told you guys, man. I was on TV even. You guys didn't see me?
No, I didn't.
I was wearing my my Dodger hoodie. Ask the boys. They saw the video. Hell, they saw it all the way from Australia. You guys can't see it in the building here?
Oh, I was watching the game, so sorry.
Anyways.
No, I didn't see it.
I told everybody I'm behind home plate. That's where I would congregate for these games. And it's not hard to catch me. I'm not hard to find. You can spot me. I'm usually wearing all black. And I'm usually standing straight up. And I look like someone that doesn't look happy. So that's it's really easy to find me.
Even when I was eating lunch.
Except last night, actually, maybe that was the deterrent, because I was pretty happy. Chris and I were joking and talking about shit pretty much the entire 3 hours.
He said he's still recovering. So yes.
Yeah. I got a head start before I got to the stadium.
Oh, I bet.
I had some vodka and Red Bull, and then
that'll do it.
Yeah, and then I can just handle the alcohol pretty well, because I don't necessarily drink it very often, and I got to put a pretty good tune on the body and how to drink and what to eat during those times. I had a slice of pizza too while we were there. It was good, but it was fun. Again, it's fun hanging out with my people, man. You guys are my people. So if you guys want to see me, next time if you're in Arizona, remember home behind home plate. So there's a 3-tier setup there, and I'm at the top. It's not hard, if you're gonna go down to to where the backstop is. I'm at the top, right behind home plate. You'll be able to see me. Chris is gonna be next to me usually, so I'm not hard to find. Now, if you're not there and you want to see me this summer, I'm gonna likely be at Dodger Stadium probably 4 or 5 times this year. So if you guys want to meet there, just let me know. We'll figure something out in terms of getting connected there. Empire Jeff will be at a lot of games. My guy Aaron's I'm probably gonna go with Aaron Aaronetic. You guys have seen him here before. Probably gonna go to maybe a game or so with him. Good man. Had a lot of good times when I went with him last year as well. So yeah, just let me know if you guys are hovering around when I'm there, and we'll connect. And I'm not gonna yell at you in front of your wife. Let's see when Gerald's gonna realize he's on mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. Again, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Well, sorry, I was clicking on something. It is, of course, the Lakers fast break. The Lakers win 110-97. Before we head on out, I'm going to hit one last question to you from Famit. Welcome, Famit. I haven't seen your name before. So if you've been here already, thank you for again. Please like and subscribe. He said 2 of Luka's last 3 seasons in Dallas, he put up berserk numbers in March and April and carried them. He thinks that he'll go nuclear once again and go up average about 36 plus down the stretch this year, willing the Lakers to hopefully close out the season very strong. Your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, let me answer El Rosto's question first, then I'll get to that. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get. I have a plan, actually. I do have a plan. It's interesting you brought that up. I'm going to try to get together with the girls that do We Talk Dodgers this summer. Empire Jeff has a connection there with them. I talked to Chris about it last night. We're going to try to start figuring out a way to collaborate. Now, Jeff made me laugh last night when we talked about it. He said, and I told him, I said, get something I'm planting something now for the summer. We don't got to do that right now. Plant something for the summer. And then his comment was, we got to de-Shrek. He calls me Shrek. He goes, we got to de-Shrek you, though, before. So, to answer the question of the press life, I don't know if I work well in that environment. That environment is very submissive. I think that's the right word. I don't really function that way. Like I can't be like a fanboy. Hey, Otani, tell us what you did this weekend. Like I don't do that shit. I can't. If you're asking me to be an aggressive question asker, I have to have credibility probably before I can actually do that and not get kicked out of the room. There's got to be some kind of following that's behind me that'll allow me to be there. You know, I hate to use this example because I can't stand this piece of shit, but there were people for the longest time that would not insult Howard Stern because they were worried about, let's say, their clubs getting a bad rap, their businesses getting a bad rap. They would deliberately try to not piss off Howard Stern because he'd get on the horn and fuck up their business. Now, there's nothing I can do, or there's not any amount of fanfare that I'd have that could mess up a Dodgers organization, and I wouldn't want to do that. But my questioning would be more towards, I think we're looking at the Lakers side of things, but I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that in 6 months to 18 months anymore, because I think they're gonna have a pretty good handle on it. They're not gonna need someone to rile shit up. That's kind of how I look at it. What was your question now again, Gerald? Before
it was from Faymet. I think it was based off of Luka, that he's going to average over 36 points because, his time with Dallas, his last 2 or 3 seasons there in March and April, he averaged over 36 points a game. So he's thinking now that he's relatively healthy once again, that he's going to go nuclear in the last couple months of the season and carry the team on his back.
Yeah, it'll be good for the experience as a fan, for him, having another epic maybe series that gets him out of the first round. I think that'd be nice. Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I'm not looking at one series here. I can only fathom championships. So I don't really have a feeling on it either way. If he does, great. If he doesn't, it just shows that this team needs to, get set up a certain way so that he doesn't have to be the all-world player that he can be, at least not for 4 series. When it comes to 4 series being like that, even the greatest players still had help. Shaq getting 40 and 20 at home for 3 series, he still needed Kobe. He still needed Fox. He still needed Ori to hit a shot. He still needed Fish to hit a shot. He still needed those guys, especially on the road, because he was notorious for getting 2 fouls in the first 6 minutes of the game. He would sit out the second half of the first quarters. So I don't know if that's going to help, unless it's just from an entertainment standpoint. My focus now is do what you can. If things play out well, great. If not, I have full confidence that the new regime is going to start putting together players around Luka that's going to make his life much, much easier. And to talk to Stefan, look, man, I don't know how all that works. The bringing in the subs, but I have also learned that subs don't hold as much value as they used to.
It's the views.
It's the views. So What we need is the people out there that want to listen to someone who.
But he was also relating it to about press pass because I had this conversation a couple of years ago with someone who does get a press pass to Summer League. I get in there through comps normally, although I have paid for tickets for Summer League, but I get in there through comps because I know through a couple contacts. But he was talking about press passes for something like the Crypt, a game like the Lakers game at the Crypt or Summer League or something. And I've been told that they don't even look at you or even sneeze in your direction unless you get at least 10,000 subs. That was the word I got from someone who does get press passes from them.
Again, I'm not saying I wouldn't be interested in seeing where that goes. I don't know if I don't know yet in terms of how that would play out. I'd have to see how things develop.
Yeah, again, watch time is a great thing. I mean, we're 4,000 hours of watch time, 1,000 subs gets you into. You're able and eligible for any AdSense or money from ad revenue at that point. Once you hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 wash hours, which we passed years ago. But it's, as I said on this show all the time, if you're not averaging 20,000 views a show, you are not making a living on YouTube. It's just that simple because they take so much of a cut and give you so little left over on the commercials that you're watching that it takes a lot of views. You guys watching, a lot of people watching this before you actually start seeing some real revenue from this. If you saw my tax reports, you would understand that. Yeah, this is just a hobby. This is just a hobby for right now. It's what I listed as on my tax report because it's that small at this point in time, Joe.
Yeah, the other problem is there's too many basketball shows. How do you differentiate yourself in terms of a marketing standpoint from everyone, unless they hear the show? And I don't know if there's a middle ground on the show, at least from where I'm coming from. I think either you like it or you don't. And a lot of that has to do with the vulgarity of kind of how things get projected as well. And maybe that needs to settle back a little bit. I go back and forth on whether I want to do that or whether I'm capable of doing it. But the problem is those who've been here for a long time say that they want it, and I'm here to. You have to give the audience what they want, and those who've invested their time the longest have seniority, and you go. That's the way you go. I can't go and I just can't. I can't. I might. You might be a corporation by legalities, but running your business, running your life like a corporation, it's just not something that I identify with. I don't have any reason to settle for anything. I don't need anything from anyone. I don't need to lower my particular standards on what I think anywhere. It just doesn't. I have a lot of knowledge in this, and I know what I'm talking about. And we do make predictions and things like that. And more often than not, I think we're right, and sometimes we're wrong. And then you got to own up to it too. But I don't want to create I don't want it to be like what it is on TV either. I don't know if it comes off like that. I really don't. I don't want to do what they do on First Take or some of the other sports shows. They're all pretty much carbon copies to me. They all have, and really 90% of the people on those shows don't know shit. And if they don't know shit, they don't even know how to articulate it right.
So says I need.
And these are former players. That's the sad part. They're all carbon copies. They create the view setups. They all do the same copycat bullshit show. I don't want to be that guy. I don't ever want to be that guy. And I don't think our show is anywhere near that.
So, and again, know what I ask you guys, know what I ask you, Joe, to do that. You guys come at it at an honest take from your own heart, from what you see. and I wouldn't ask for anything less. Tough So said I need a new account. I said, my answer back was, I need YouTube to add a few zeros to my 1099 from Google. That's what I need. Is in that in case, but getting back to El Rosto, thank you. Appreciate what you were saying about what's going on the Discord. So truly appreciate that. And then I want to leave from El Rosto right there. As far as I'm concerned, got that everything. I think I got all the things to take care of with one last thing. Yeah, 805. We're gonna have to come up with a new marketplace because you're the second person to ask for that. 805. By the way, Mexico versus USA. World Baseball League, World Baseball Classic, excuse me, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Yeah, we have to come up with something new in the marketplace because the marketplace that Joe set up, I think the link is no longer working. I don't know if she shut it down or whatnot.
I talked to her a few days ago. I'm going to mention it to her tomorrow. See if she can put it back up. I'll let you know.
Okay, no worries. But last but certainly not least, before we head on out, I want to go ahead. Stefan says, I'm not being polite. I've listened to all the Lakers shows and I sincerely believe this is the one by far the best. Well, thank you, Stefan. Appreciate it. I really don't know how YouTube decides what show, but it's again, I don't know these. You do everything to try to accommodate the YouTube algorithm, whatever that may be, and it does it's on its own. We don't know. If you know the magic elixir, then more power to you, because I'd love to go into the offices of Google in San Francisco or Seattle, which I've seen and driven by, or in one case I floated by on a ship, and I saw it from the waters. Yeah, how did they do it? What do I need to do? Because I do all the things that they say, and it is what it is. But I did want to go ahead and leave one last comment from left on base. He said he gets what he wants. He wants what he wants. From you, Joe, before we head on out.
I don't know what that means.
I think he wants to yell.
I already yelled at you enough, and I couldn't even listen to that show, by the way. Thank you.
I get what I want from the ox, which
Good.
Again really sounds
good. Thank you, Left.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I hope that means the show.
By the way, isn't that how Indecent Proposal started?
By the way, if you're gonna start talking like this and then bringing in your wife, you at least got to show me your picture.
Yes, there you go. Show a picture of his wife. Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com, and I can forward it to Joe. Or Joe, your social media. Just write to Joe's social media. What's your social media for
The Experiment?
Oh, the Experiment.
Right, I made it easy for everybody. And then and you can find me on TikTok, God help me. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on all the social media outlets. I'm known as Johnny Blade on one of my Facebooks, or my main Facebook page, but that goes into my Sin Blades account. And then I also have another Instagram account where you can find the Experiment. So just put the Experiment on any of your social media apps. You can friend me, you can follow me, whatever it is that you want to do. I probably don't promote those things that much. Maybe I should, but at the same time, I enjoy what I do here right now. Matter of fact, I enjoy what I'm doing exactly right now, which is not show my face, just my voice. But that advice has not been supported by many. People say that they want to see my face, they want to see my reactions. I always thought of having a little bit of mystery behind everything I did. But again, I think I don't live in that world anymore. Now people want to see shit.
We did have a full merchandise store Joe had set up with hoodies, shirts, hats, and whatnot. And he said he's going to try and figure that out if we can.
Yeah,
get that
I'll
back
have
going
something figured out by tomorrow. Don't worry, guys. I'll let you guys know on the next show.
I do have a LFB shirt that I made custom that I wear that Tough likes so much. I had a vendor here in Vegas who made one for me, make one for him. It was right around $30 at that time. He wears it, Tough does. So yeah, I mean, I'll try to remember. I'll try to remember to wear it on the Tuesday show for the custom one I've had made here in Vegas. But yes, we'll see if we can get a merchandise store back up and running, because I know Carino asked it about the other day as well. So, but yes, it is, of course, a Lakers fast break. Lakers do win 110-97. Hopefully, I'll be back on Monday with an NBA observations. I know Joe and I have been behind the scenes asking, he's talking about doing something special here for you guys here in the not too distant future as well. And also, as well, of course, the post game coming up after Tuesday night's game. But I will be running a contest here in the coming days. Look for it. I'll be making a post on it on the channel and social media for Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. I wouldn't know about TikTok because Joe got me banned on TikTok. But Young Mamba, the Young Mamba skate deck is right there. You can win one of these if you're in the continental United States, and also as well, because, he has to send it out to you. And it'll be if you are a subscriber and a follower of Drip Show and, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. And shout out for El Rosto for making this happen indeed. So Lakers win 110-97. We'll be back on Tuesday after the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Looking forward right after the game this time around. Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out? Oh, how did I get banned on TikTok? If you go look at the shorts on the YouTube channel, Arcarino, just pick one. But there is one with Bronny and Joe going off on the Lakers drafting Bronny using a lot of expletives. That's what got me kicked off of TikTok. But Joe, any last thoughts before we head?
Yes, thank you for safe trip back comments, everyone, and I will have a experiment show this week. Be ready for that. I will be back on the saddle, back home, doing my thing tomorrow. I get up early tomorrow morning, head back to the south from AZ. Looking forward to the stretch run here, and it was nice. It was a nice game to watch today. Enjoyed. It was a good day. Nice, relaxing day. Nice, relaxing Sunday. I seem to dread Laker days these days because you don't know. You don't know what's coming. But no matter what, we're always still there watching and making sure we're supporting, and can't take for granted what you're watching here, guys. Don't take it for granted. LeBron is likely going to be playing his last few games here as a Laker, and enjoy what you see with Luka, guys. Luka's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He'll be a multiple MVP at some point here, and I just crossed my fingers that he'll be a multiple champion as well.
But with that, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. By the way, Carino, I did put, I believe, the one with, as far as the short, I put the link in the chat. I think it's that one. There is one more he made on Bronny, just as much Joe-ish as possible, too. So I don't know. I forget which one it was, but it was one of those two Bronny rants that, I mean, I hadn't checked my TikTok in a couple weeks, and then I opened it up and said, "Oh, yep, your account's been deleted due to community guidelines." And I was like, "Oh, wonder what community guidelines." I mean, it's still on Facebook, it's still on YouTube, but TikTok didn't like Joe talking about Bronny, and I'll leave it at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers Fast Break will return hopefully tomorrow with the NBA observations, but definitely after the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wishing you a happy week and a safe time out there. Everyone, hopefully will join us. Please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we come right back at you with another Lakers Fast Break podcast.